Hello everyone, I'm Matt with Nature's Head. Today we're going to be doing an installation using our shell vent and our new installation kit on a hollow wall. So we get a lot of questions, people asking how we do this or how do they need to do this. So this would apply if you had a cabin, a tiny home, something where there's an inside wall and an outside wall. Things like boats are usually single wall construction. You can certainly use the same thing, but the process is not as complicated. For what we're going to do today, these are some of the tools that you'll need. Some sort of electric drill is really handy. This is our new installation kit. It's an 1.25" PVC pipe and an escutcheon or a trim ring to go on the inside of the wall. This is a 1 3/4" hole saw. That's what we'll need to make the hole in the wall with. A regular Phillips head screwdriver, a level. This is a longer 1/4" bit. This matches the bit size that's in most hole saws, and we'll show you why that's going to be handy. Tape measure, and this is our shell vent itself. So the shell vent comes with the stainless steel screws to do installation on most walls. If you had some kind of brick or concrete, you may need a different kind of anchor, but for what we're doing today, we're going to use just a regular wood anchor. So to start with, you're going to want to determine where you want it on your wall. We just marked a center point today. Be careful. Look on your inside and your outside. Try to make sure that there's nothing that would obstruct, where you want to go. The last thing you want to do is drill through something plumbing or something else. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's in your wall. You need to determine where your stud is. If there's a stud wall, so you don't drill through the stud. So those are the things that you need to get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drill what we call a pilot hole in the location where we want. The reason for the longer bit is so that unless you have access to both sides of the wall where you can measure and get it correct, it's going to be hard to get your holes on the two sides of the walls equal. So using the longer bit allows you to go through both sides of the wall so that you can come through and drill with a hole saw here, hole saw there, and get your holes in the right location. So we'll start with drilling the inside hole. As a tip, you may want to reach in with this and kind of just push it through by hand, and just make sure that you're not hitting something. So like I said, you don't want to drill through plumbing or electrical wiring, so if you can reach through and hit the other side of the wall, you should be in pretty good shape. Try and determine that your bit is fairly level, then drill through your outer wall. So once that's done, you change our bit out and go to our hole saw bit to make our hole. So depending on the type of material, if you haven't used a hole saw before, they can be kind of grabby, so just start easy with it. Most time you wouldn't be able to get through and get an accurate hole to the other side. So that was the reason for the pilot hole. So if we can, we're going to get our other core piece out of there. So I'm going to go to the other side of the wall. We could spin it, but we have other stuff, and we would use the pilot hole that we have. Come through and drill a hole in the outside portion of your wall. From there, like I said, with our new installation kit, we're providing like a 1 foot piece of PVC. For most installation, this is about all you need. If you wanted to go plumbing somewhere else or whatever else, you may want to go to the hardware store and buy extra. The 1 foot piece would allow you to get through most types of wall. Most of them are 2x4 walls, which is about 4 inches thick. Some are 6x6. So we made it longer so that you'd have plenty to get through whichever kind of construction that you need. So the next thing that we would do is we're going to take our shell vent apart. There's 2 screws inside the shell vent that need to come out. Just hold the outer cover to the inner cover. We'll set these screws aside. You're going to need them later. And that separates your two halves. So the shell vent comes with a filter in it to keep insects from getting into your house. And this is going to go on the outside portion of your wall. Okay, so we've taken our shell vent apart. We're going to take our piece of PVC. Usually it just needs to be twisted in there. It actually fits very tightly. You should certainly glue it, but for the most part you should not need to. We'll insert our PVC into the hole in the wall that we made from the outside. From there, you want to do a good job on your installation. You're going to want to get this fairly level. So come in, use the level, scribe a line, and from there, like I said, we provide stainless steel screws for mounting the shell vent. So you're going to want to look and make sure that you're along your line. Take your first screw. You can leave it a little bit loose for the moment. Again, make sure that you're along the line that you want to be. Install your next screw. Again, depending on the substrate or the wall material, you may want to finish these off by hand. Sometimes you hit them too hard with your drill, you can strip them out. On structures, we recommend angling your shell vent so it's angled down, keep the weather out of it. On vehicles, if you're doing this on like an RV or something like that, usually we're going to recommend a 45 and aft so that you don't have air coming back into it. So, but again, we want to make sure we keep the weather out. So, like I said, make sure that our bolts are snug. We're going to take our shell vent, we're going to need to slide it back together, and then there's two bolts that we're going to insert back from the bottom. So like I said, they're going to go back in the holes that they originally came out of. So once you have your lower piece mounted, we're going to put our cover back on. Going to need to get where you can see your bolts and screw them back into your shell vent. So preferably not drop them on the floor. And now our shell vent's mounted. So from there, we will go back to the inside demonstration. We can flip our wall. So where the new little trim ring comes in. So this is designed to slip over the pipe. It covers your hole, makes for a nice little installation. This can certainly just sit there. It's not going to go anywhere. You could certainly glue it to the wall if you wanted to. This is what they call a split ring. It has a split in it you could cut if it was an existing installation, where you could actually break this apart and slide it over the pipe. For what we want to do, it's going to go like this. This pipe could be shortened if you wanted to, if you didn't want this much sticking out of the wall. Like I said, we've purposely made it a little long for different types of applications. And then your hose from your toilet is going to fit straight onto the thing here. So we supply a 5-foot hose with your nature's head. This is going to go on your fan housing. The fan housing is always the one with the little power connector there. When you buy the toilet, it comes installed on the right side of the toilet if you're facing it. So, but this would be your slip-on connector here, and then your other end is going to connect to your PVC in the wall. So again, this could be shortened if you wanted to make it more aesthetic. The hose could be shortened if you needed to. So that is the installation for our shell vent and new installation kit.